Hello everybody, my name is David. Thank you for watching Crazy Narcissist Ex-Girlfriend. This is part 2 of my Q&A video. I'm answering questions from the last Q&A video from last week. Any questions you have, go down below, ask me, and I'll answer them in the next Q&A video. So, let's start part 2. Christopher Riley from the United Kingdom. What's up, Christopher? Is it normal to feel inferior to my ex's new supply? Why did she hide her new boyfriend? So 2 questions. Is it normal to feel inferior to my ex's new supply? Under the circumstances, yes. I think that's something we might all kind of have felt at some point. But now this goes back to self-esteem. This goes back to comparing yourself to someone else. So what happens when we compare ourselves to someone else, right? Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes we can compare ourselves to some people and feel good about ourselves, can't we? Sometimes we can look at that person over there and go, God, I wouldn't want to be them, But it doesn't work all the time, does it? We can't do that all the time, can we? And we shouldn't. That would be what a narcissist does. So you're comparing yourself to this person and you feel inferior. Stop doing that, Christopher. Recognize and realize the qualities you have of your own inside yourself. Okay? Realize the qualities that she chose you the first time in the beginning. She was with you because of those qualities. And she has slowly tried to destroy you and lose those qualities. And now she's with somebody else, a new guy that she makes feel great and they look happy. So I talk about this a lot. When a relationship ends abruptly with no explanation at all and they walk out the door on you and don't tell you why, that's fucked up. And that leaves a lot of bullshit in your head and you don't know how to process all that. A normal way to process something like that for a human being is to believe it's our fault, that we're bad, we suck. So that's something going on right there. The fact that they go on and they appear to be happy with somebody else and you're down in the dumps and depressed and fucking hate the world and feel like, the whole world is collapsing in on you. What does that mean? What does that look like? It looks like you're fucked up and they're happy, right? They're great. They're healthy. No. Anyone who walk out of a relationship like that with no explanation, not telling the other person why, and there really is no reason, you just walk right out of a huge, long relationship and just go be with somebody else, that's fucking not normal, okay? That's not okay. That's not healthy, and she's not happy. A happy person does not do things like that, okay? And it's normal for all the fucked up bad shit you feel. That is normal. For you to feel inferior to your ex under these circumstances is normal. For a healthy person, no. So, Christopher, stay away from this person. Stop looking. Stop talking to this person. Stop looking at their miserable ex. That's going to feel like shit soon. Okay? Don't compare yourself to anyone. Okay, Christopher? Hope that helps. Step chicken. They don't disagree with you in the beginning. They agree with everything. Yes. Maybe you can throw something out there like, I believe the world is flat. So I get your point. What they're saying is, in the beginning they agree with everything and you're trying to wonder if they're a narcissist or not because they literally agree with everything. They're mirroring you, right? And you want to throw something crazy out there to see if they, oh yeah, me too. Yeah, that works. That's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. The problem with, I believe the world is flat, well, there's a new movement called the Flat Earthers. So that makes sense. To a portion of the population in this world, flat Earth makes sense. So I guess that one won't really work that well now anymore, will it? Because some people believe the world is flat. The world's not flat, trust me. But yeah, I think that's a good point. You could throw something crazy out there like that. But just not that one. Just pick something else, But that's a good idea, Step Chicken. We kind of test these people, kind of feel them out and test them. And I think that's okay to a certain point. You don't want to keep doing that forever. But in the beginning, you really like somebody. They're agreeing with everything. And you're going, holy shit, are they mirroring me? And you say, hey, I think the world is flat. And she goes, me too, I'm a flat earther. And you go, oh, fuck. I don't know if I want to date a flat earther. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea, and I think you could come up with some different ones as well. Jenna Ragazza from Chicago. Hello, Jenna. I had 2 loving and kind parents growing up. So why did I still date a narcissist? Because Jenna, she's asking me because I always say that we date narcissists because of our parents. And usually, and I'll get to that, I'll tell you. There's reasons we date narcissists and there's reasons other people don't. And the difference usually is we didn't have our emotional needs met as children. Now, Jenna, this doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad parent. This doesn't mean that they weren't, together. They could have been together and they could be nice to you and good to you. The problem is it doesn't mean they met all your emotional needs. So that is one reason that you stay with a narcissist, is if your parents don't meet your emotional needs and they don't meet your emotional needs, it's normal. And it's so easy, Jenna and everybody. It's so easy to not meet your child's emotional needs. I believe that it can be easy to miss out on that and to not know to do that, especially if you didn't have your emotional needs met when you were a child. And I think it could, be very pathological. It's not as bad as you think. Abandonment doesn't necessarily mean that your father packed their shit up and left you all of a sudden and left the family. That doesn't mean that doesn't have to be that. That's not just abandonment, or abandonment isn't just that. Abandonment is, okay, so you're a female. When you were a young female and you had issues that young female have at a certain age, and you're becoming a woman and stuff like that, your period, sex, boys, stuff like that. If your parents cannot talk to you about that, and if they never brought it up to you and you never felt comfortable enough to bring it up to them, that's a form of neglect, a form of abandonment. Okay? And they could be very nice people, but they just didn't tend to their child's needs in that way. Okay? And that means your needs weren't met. And that's why we stay with narcissists that don't meet our emotional needs as well. I hope that helps. Now, the biggest reason that we got involved with narcissists is because of our own childhood shame. Shame doesn't allow us to feel worthy enough to put up boundaries. So, shame could be anything, Jenna, and it doesn't have to be something horrible as well. Shame is something that it's different than guilt. It's not like when you look back in your childhood and you feel guilty about something you did. That's just you did something bad. Okay, you know that it was bad, and that's not who you are, and you don't do that anymore to anybody else. You learned your lesson, and hopefully that you don't feel that anymore. We shouldn't feel guilt like that anymore. If we apologized and we don't do it anymore, it's gone. Okay, it's a lesson learned. Shame is anything that somebody did to make you feel unworthy, bad, a bad person. Not I did something bad, I am bad. I am bad. So, Jenna, there might be a situation where something in your childhood made you feel like you're a bad person for that moment, but it transcends into your adulthood. And when when you're in contact with people and they cross your boundaries, it's going to make you feel unworthy to say, don't do that. You're not going to feel as strong as somebody that has boundaries to say, you can't do that to me. Because you have to have self-worth to do that to people. You have to have self-worth to say, you can't treat me like that. You can't say that to me. I don't like what you just did. You just crossed the line there, buddy. Get the fuck back. Take a step back. You know what I mean? You have to have self-worth for that. And if you have childhood shame that you're carrying around with you, that self-worth gets knocked down. And we tend to let people walk on us, take advantage of us, stuff like that. Okay? So, that is something to look into your childhood, Jenna. And it doesn't have to be your parents. Okay? This could be caused by a grandparent, an uncle, an aunt. I have had clients who did have great parents, and they actually had a pretty good childhood. And they dated narcissists because their uncle molested them. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Now, the other part that's missing there, though, is if you don't feel comfortable enough to tell your parents that their brother is touching you, are they meeting your emotional needs? Are they there for you? Okay, right? So there's a lot more involved than just both my parents, that you have to have like, now is what I tell people, this is what I tell most of my clients that are kind of stuck in this. They kind of say, well, I don't know why I did this. Okay, well, this is what I tell my clients in the beginning. One or both of your parents typically were either an alcoholic, a drug addict, had some type of mental illness, personality disorder, in some way, shape, or form, they abandoned you or neglected you. Okay, they did not meet your emotional needs. Okay, and that's why we date a narcissist, and that's why other people do not. And that's why after these narcissistic relationships, we work on ourselves, we deal with our shame, and we become healthy, and you don't have to worry about dating these people anymore because you have self-worth and you tell people not to do that shit to you anymore. Okay? Hope that helps. If not, just ask me again, Jenna. Shannon Clark from Washington. Hello, Shannon. It's been almost 2 years of no contact besides divorce court, and I ran into my ex. I did well avoiding him, and he tried to position himself everywhere he could to bump into me. Why was this so hard? Shannon, good job, by the way. You did do good. You did do good, and you had a much longer question as well, and it was actually kind of funny. I was envisioning himself going around and trying to position himself so that you'd run into him and stuff. And you said you kind of looked at him, and he kind of looked at you and didn't really make eye contact. You looked away. This is great. This is great, Shannon. And be proud of yourself for doing this, okay? Be proud of yourself. Now, why was this so hard? It makes sense. Now, I know it's been almost 2 years, and you've had no contact besides divorce court. That is some contact. Just give it more time. You're doing good. Basically, Shannon, is you're afraid. Okay? You're afraid, and this is a fear. And fears need to be looked at. I believe they need to be evaluated. And it's real, most of us have fears, and we don't want to think about it, right? We want to make it go away. So we don't think about it, we don't look at it, we don't talk about it. Well, fears are better. Fears are not something you want to obsess on, because bad fear, negative thoughts, stuff like that, we tend to also fall into a trap and obsess with them. But talking about a fear is a really good thing, because you really, really evaluate, is it even a fear? What am I afraid of? That's a great thing to ask yourself. What am I afraid of, and does that serve me? If something you're afraid of doesn't serve you and you can't do anything about it, it does no good. But you're obviously afraid for so many different reasons. It's so obvious why. This guy hurt you and you don't want to be hurt again. Your brain sees him and immediately is scared. Okay? So it's good that turned out well. That will help you in the future. That will help your brain not be so scared. Okay? Don't worry. You'll be less scared. The more you see him, the next time you see him, you won't be as scared. I promise. How about that? In 5 years, you won't give a shit, right? So it just takes more time, that's all. Don't worry. You're doing good. Think about what you would have done a year ago if you ran into him. You would have felt worse. Daryl Swindle. I have a child with the ex, and she is mad at me for dating someone else. Now that you stopped dating someone else, she won't let you see who she is dating now. And you left a lot longer question, Daryl, as well. She had some bad relationship with the last guy she dated, and now you're worried about who your children are around, and that is very responsible. You want to know who your children is around, but she avoids you, and you're having trouble seeing your child. She's making this too difficult for you. Okay, Daryl, all I can say to stuff like this, Daryl, is the courts have to be involved. The lawyer has to be involved. It's a very natural thing to want to see who your child is around. The problem is you're doing this with a narcissist, and there are just certain things, Daryl, you're going to have to accept. You're just going to have to. There's certain things she won't do. There's certain things she doesn't have to do. She does. I don't know by law if she has to introduce him to you. I don't know. Those are the things to look at, and I hope you have a lawyer And those are always, if you have a lawyer, that's the only way you should be dealing with her. There should be an arranged time that you have your children, and that's it. Okay, so try and go through this through a more legal approach instead of a personal approach. Okay, because she's going to fuck you up. She's going to play games with you, all this shit. Okay, and you're going to feel like shit. So, yeah, okay? I wouldn't try to contact her too much personally and play games with her and stuff like that. And she doesn't need to know you're dating someone else. Keep your life private to her. Okay? I hope that helps. I'm sorry I can't help more. It's just such a difficult situation. It really is. There's no clear right way to go about it except, gray rock, use your lawyer, don't react. That's gray rock. I mean, it's just so difficult. Don't get personal with these people. Don't react. Don't tell them your personal life. Okay? And there's just certain things that you're going to have to deal with and you're going to have to accept because they're sick, they're disordered. You're not going to change them, remember? So that's just the way they are.